Hi, my name is Alexis, and I'll be going over the learning objective of describing 3 kinematic measures of motion and describing one way to calculate each measure for a specific movement. So beginning with the definition of kinematics, it refers to the description of motion without regard to force or mass. These descriptions or descriptors refer to an object's change in spatial position, speed, and its changes in speed. So, kinematic measures are performance production measures that are based on recording the movement of a specific body segment while a person is performing. This can be captured on motion capture, which is the process of recording movement and translating it into data, which is often seen and used in the film industry and when in game making when creating animated characters. So, the 3 measures of kinematics are displacement, velocity, and acceleration. The first kinematic measure is displacement. Displacement is the change of position in a limb or joint during movement, or the changes in spatial locations as a person moves. So displacement is all about finding the shortest distance from point A to point B. So in order to solve for it, we would use the Pythagorean theorem to solve for the hypotenuse of the right triangle that is made with direction and length, since displacement is the vector quantity. So as we see in the photo, the red lines indicated the direction and length, and the black line would be the displacement, as it's the shortest length it takes from getting to point A to point C. Displacement can also be analyzed with movement analysis systems to identify the positions of the marked joint or device, and it uses XY coordinates for 2-dimensional analysis and XYZ for 3-dimensional analysis. The second kinematic measure is velocity, which involves the rate of change, or how fast the change in a position take and its direction. To solve for velocity, it's also a vector quantity that describes change in position divided by change in time. So we would use the formula of velocity equals displacement over time to help us find how far, how long, or even how fast a movement took. Lastly, the third kinematic measure is acceleration, which is the change in velocity during movement. To solve for acceleration, we would first find the change in velocity and divide it by the change in time. An example of finding acceleration would be when we're trying to find the average acceleration of a car when braking. So in order to find the average acceleration of a car when braking, we would first consider the speed of the car, which is its initial velocity. Then we would consider the speed of the car when it comes to its stop, which is its final velocity. And lastly, the time it took, which is how long it took to stop the car, and the change in time and the period of time it took to brake. Thank you.